Because if we're taking every single thing that's coming into us and trying to take action on every single thing, you are easily going to burn yourself out. Because everything isn't for right now. Everything isn't for this time right now. And we have to really learn to be more trusting in the process and allow what's coming to us to come to us, and trust that what's coming to us will come to us in the right timing. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another entry in the Solitude Diaries. Today, I'm going to talk about timing and the divinity that lies within it. Now, obviously, time is one of those things that we obviously know is there. We know it exists. We know it's continuous. We know there's no getting it back. We know that it only progresses and moves forward. And at the same time, all of us are bound to this entity, to this thing that is completely not tangible. Time is not something that we can touch or that we can see, but time is something that can be measured. And when we think about time, at least when I think about time, I really look at time as being a gift. I look at time as being something that we have been given in order to do with it what we feel is best served for ourselves and for the collective. That is really my understanding, and it's my philosophy on time, and it is why I really, really try to live my life intentionally. Like, intention is such a big part of who I am, and anyone who knows me knows this. They know that I'm very intentional about the things that I do and where it is that I spend my time, how I spend my time. I really value the gift of time. And one of the things that I've been really getting to understand about myself is that I am a person that can be extremely impulsive, like very, very impulsive. And when I look at like my birth chart, certain placements, it explains it. First of all, I'm an Aries rising, and so just having that as a fire sign ruled by Mars, which is all about just like action and go and like wanting to go and do the thing. And that is my rising. That is like a very big part of my personality. And as I've continued to study my astrological birth chart and continued to really dive deeper into some of these placements, it really has allowed me to understand myself better and understand myself on a deeper level. And in doing that and in being in study of that, I really have come to be aware of this impulsivity that I have. And I've been able to reflect on it and really identify moments in my life where that impulsivity has come up and I have rushed into decisions or rushed into doing things that it was not the right time for. You see, the thing is, when something is not in its right timing, it usually ends up getting screwy in some way, shape, or form. Like, I have a instance that comes up for me of me. I'm trying to remember how long ago this is. This was a while ago, and I wanted a new car. This was probably back in like 2013. Yeah, this was like 2013. So I had gotten my first car in 2010. It was a little Civic, a little two-door Civic. It was brand new. I got a really good price on it, and that was my little car. And so I had that car for about 3 years, and then I just hit a point where I was like, okay, I'm over it. I'm ready for something else. And the way I felt about it was like, you know what? I don't need my mom anymore because I was on my own insurance at that time. You know, I had a job and I'm like, you know what? Like, I can do this myself. And I brashly like went into the decision to go and just like get a new car. And the car that I ended up getting, it was a used Volkswagen Tiguan. And I like just like fell in love with the car, like just all the, I loved like the features of it and all of the things. Fast forward maybe like 2 weeks later, I start having all of these issues with the car, like electrical issues with the car. Like the windows would just be going up and down by itself. It was making like these funny noises. Like all of this stuff just started going wrong with the car. And I was so dissatisfied and like so frustrated about the whole thing. And we ended up being able to go back to the dealer and kind of work out a thing. And then I ended up trading in that car and getting a Jetta, getting a brand new Jetta. And so that was the car that I had for the last like 10, 11 years was that Jetta. And so when I think back though on the initial desire of being impulsive, of like, I just want a new car and that's it. Like there was really no thought process into it. I did not take a moment to really like sit with it to see if this decision really made sense. You know, my mom was not on board with it. She was not supportive with it, but it was one of those things where again, I didn't need her to do the process. And so my mom has always been the type of parent who tries to lightly guide, you know, but she understands that we have to go out into the world and make our mistakes. And like, she very much was that kind of parent. She gave me the space to do what it was I wanted to do, but I knew she wasn't happy with it. I could feel her energy about it and around it. And then especially when I started to have issues with it, you know, it's like, you know, well, Michelle, yada, yada, yada. And like, that's a decision that pops into my mind, like usually instantly when I think about just the timing aspect and really not trusting in the right timing. And I put myself into a situation where now I was paying more money for a car payment, paying more money in insurance. And it's like, I could have kept my little Civic and just been riding her out. You know what I mean? And so when we talk about timing and timing needing to be in alignment with what is right for us at that particular time, that's what I mean. Like when we give into the impulsivity and don't take time to really sit with ourselves and really be discerning about the decisions that it is that we're making, when we don't do that, things typically end up going a little funky in some way, shape, or form. And obviously that's going to look different for everyone depending on the situation, but generally speaking, that's usually the way that things go. And so where I'm at right now in my life, I am really working on practicing better discernment with things, and specifically better discernment around timing, because I receive in a lot of like downloads. I get a lot of insight and a lot of foresight and information and like revelation. Like I get a lot of things that come in. And when that happens, it can be hard to like decipher what is for me versus what maybe is for someone else. Because sometimes I'm getting in things for other people too. And also deciphering what is for right now and what is just something I'm supposed to table and sit with. And as I'm working through my impulsive nature, I'm really learning to practice better discernment around timing and really sitting with myself more to see like, is this something I'm supposed to do now? Like, especially when it's things that feel like really good to me, like things that are like, my desire is like really fueling it, and it's like it's fueling like the action part in me that just like wants to go for it, do the thing, like oh, this idea, let me hop on it literally right this second. Like, that's how things work with me. And then what ends up happening is I'll get burnt out super, super quick, or things just don't seem to be like working out. It's like the things aren't coming together. And I understand why that is happening, because if something is not in the right timing for you, then it's not going to come together because it's not in the right timing for you. And a big part of the process of manifestation, which I talked about in another video, is the patience part of it. There is such a level of surrender that you have to give in order to really be in co-creation with the universe. You have to be in a space of surrender so that you can be open to receive. And part of that receiving is being able to practice discernment on what is coming in. Because if we're taking every single thing that's coming into us and trying to take action on every single thing, you are easily going to burn yourself out. Because everything isn't for right now. Everything isn't for this time right now. And we have to really learn to be more trusting in the process and allow what's coming to us to come to us, and trust that what's coming to us will come to us in the right timing. And that's hard. Trust me, I know, as someone who struggles with being impulsive, like I just told y'all the story about, like I struggle with this. This is difficult for me. And all I'm really doing in this process is just trying. You know, that's really all we can do, is take notice of it, like recognizing it and trying to do something differently about it. And so what's changed for me more recently is that I started to pay attention and notice how I feel when I get that impulsivity kind of feeling rise up in me. Because there is a bodily sensation that is surrounding it, at least for me. And I don't want to speak for everyone, but for me personally, there is a physical sensation that I feel within myself when I'm being impulsive. And so what I have realized is that, when I get in the download or receive something or whatever the case is, and I get this like feeling, this pressure, that's like the best word for it. There's this pressure that literally starts to like rise in me. I know that that means this is not something I'm supposed to take action on now. That's my impulsivity. That's the pressure that I feel in me to act. Because that is a part of who it is that I am, is this innate pressure to act. And it has its benefits, obviously, because it is what fuels me toward action. It's what fuels me to be able to do things and to follow through on the things that I want to do, or the things that I'm saying I want to do. But on the flip side of it, that same action, that same pressure builds up in me when I feel like, oh, I have to act on this now, or I have to do this now, I have to do this now. And a part of what I know I'm being taught in this season, like my lesson is really about patience. It has come up in, oh my goodness, in so many different shapes and forms. Patience, patience, patience. Patience around my healing journey, my physical healing journey of my body. Like I really thought back in like February when I had this surgery, the end of February, I really truly believed that by the summer, like by now, that I was pretty much going to be back to how I was prior to having the injury. Like I really believed that. And at the time, that kind of delusional belief really kind of kept me going, because it felt like, okay, I know I'm not going to be feeling like this forever. Like, I should be good by the summer. Like, that mentality really kept me on the up. And so I'm grateful for my delusion, my delusionalness, my delusional mind at times, because it was really motivating and helping to keep me from completely sinking and falling into deep depression during that time. But here I am now. It's August, it's mid-August, and I'm still in physical therapy. I'm still going through different changes in my body. I'm still having nerve pain that comes and radiates up and down my leg. I'm still having pain and discomfort and achiness in my back. Like, I'm still having all of these things. And so what I envisioned my summer looking like was extremely different than what this summer actually ended up being. And in that, I have had to really practice, oh my goodness, like patience, like really trusting the process. Like, I've really had to learn to accept just where it is that I am, but also not lose sight of where it is I know I want to go. And it's so easy to do that because, it just starts to become your reality, and you feel like there's no way out of it, you know? And I really do believe in the power that we each have to craft our lives in the ways that we want them to be. But it's a process, and processes just take time, and they take editing, and fine tuning, and learning and adapting and adjusting. There's so much involved in a process, and I'm really, really appreciative for the insight that I've had more recently just around the timing of things, and really trusting the timing of things, and using time as a way to communicate with the universe. Because I feel like that's a big part of what's happening when you're in this kind of like flow state. It's this use of your time toward the desire that you want to craft and create for yourself. And so your actions are now aligning with who it is that you want to be, or with what it is that you are desiring for yourself, or what it is that you're calling in for yourself. And we have the ability to use the gift of time to allow us to position ourselves to be in spaces for the universe to come and deliver to us what it is that we need in that time. And that's, I think, the key part of it, is that everything that's coming to you is coming to you in the right time. So even if it's not the big grand thing that you're receiving right now, you're probably getting a little nugget of it. There's a piece of the grand scheme that you're getting in this moment, because this is what you need right now. And if you keep walking the path, you keep putting yourself in positions and using time to position yourself so that you can be in a space to receive. You keep doing that, and you're going to be fed. It's breadcrumbs, It really is a marathon. It's not a race. It is really, it's a steady process, and it requires you to continue to trust and trust and trust. Patience, 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 surrender, surrender, surrender. And we've been blessed enough to be given this beautiful gift of time in order to do that, in order to receive what it is we want, in order to communicate with the divine. Like, all of this stuff is really done in how we use our time, how we choose to use our time. And I think that that's really beautiful. And I believe that if we all start to view time as this gift, as this thing that we are lucky enough to keep receiving every single day, every day that we are alive and are able to be present, like, we're being gifted with this beautiful gift of time, and we take it for granted so much by not being intentional with how we use it. And if we started to really look at this gift as this thing that we can't get back, that we don't know when we're going to be cut off from being able to receive it, and really start to treasure it and see it as this precious thing, I think we would all start to utilize time a little differently, and utilize time in ways that would allow us to better ourselves and better those around us. And so I really encourage you to take inventory of how you're spending your time. Take a moment to really sit and be with yourself and journal on this, or reflect on this, contemplate on this, and really think about what is the reality that you desire to craft and create for yourself. And then ask yourself, do my actions align with allowing that to happen? Am I using time in a way that is going to put me on the trajectory and put me in alignment with the life that I'm desiring to have and the person that I'm wanting to be? And then come back and let me know in the comments. I really would love to know what came up for you. What is the thing that you're desiring and crafting and creating for yourself? And how are you using time, or how can you use time in order to make that vision and that desire a reality? So let's talk about it. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I will catch y'all next time. All right, bye.